Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for Friday, May 25th, 2018. Happy Friday everyone. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. What you'll notice here is we continue to trade sideways in a very narrow range. You can see volatility has dropped off on a 5-day range basis. If I open this up and make it, say, a 10-day, you'll also notice right here that it is very tightly compressed compared to average. Normally that is an indication that we will see an increase of volatility very soon. I mentioned before that this narrow range can break in either direction, and we got to continue to watch for signs of directional bias. Overall, we continue to flow to the upside. We continue to see bulls defend the 2700, 2703, which suggests perhaps a move into 2800 and 2830. At the moment, we're seeing a failed new high to begin the day, which could lead prices back down the range again. That 2700 to 2703.75, such an important zone that bulls want to continue to hold it. There are sell stops that are starting to build below that zone though, so if there's any failure here pretty soon to hold 27, we could rotate back to 2600. So again, we have a very narrow range that could be on the verge of expansion fairly soon. We'll continue to watch for signs of expansion at either of the edges, which could lead to a very nice move toward our targets sometime down the line. Okay, so let's take a look now at the NQ. So here's the NQ. You'll notice very similar price action here. This one has gotten a nice little push up to the upside here. You can see this breakout day after things got very tightly coiled. A nice little spring here. Now things have pulled back a little bit and have basically compressed just like the ES. And in this case, we could be looking at an upside break as well that puts us into 7200 toward new highs. Again, if we did do that scenario, I would be looking also for signs of a fade back down, as this thing has been sticky around the 66.53s. But in the short term, we are flowing to the upside. We do have to keep an eye on the failed new high that's developing right now. That failed new high and prices above 69.65 not being accepted at the moment, which could lead to more of a pullback. But so far, we've had failed new lows here, higher lows, higher highs, and that suggests more strength next week. Today, we do also have Fed Chair Powell speaking 10 minutes before the RTH open. That could provide some volatility heading into today's session, and also that volatility could permeate into next week as well. So we could be looking at some very nice movement to come out of the ES and the NQ down the road. If we take a look here at crude oil, you'll notice that crude has dropped significantly. We've gotten to move all the way back into 69s. I mentioned that on a swing basis, we haven't really wanted to look to sell this thing, but we do want to defend pullbacks for a shot at squeezing this thing up. So far, we've gotten a drop into the 69s here, which is where prior highs are. It's just below the previous month's high. The last couple of times we were below it, we've gotten big time pushes right back up. And so we're watching here to see how this behaves. If we start to see some sort of strength off of these lows, if we start to push back above 69.50s, that could begin to lead to a rejection day, and perhaps that could lead to a very nice push back to recent highs. So again, we are right in the zone here, but there's no rejection just yet. We got to watch to see how this thing continues to develop. If price were to close back above the midpoint for the day by the end of the day, that could go a long way towards seeing this thing rally back towards 73 and perhaps into 74.52 over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that's something that we'll be continuing to follow in crude oil. Looking at gold, you'll see that gold has gotten a decent squeeze here. Very nice move. We mentioned on this day here that we could see a 1 to 3 day bounce into 1300 to 1306.60, and if we did, we'd be looking for signs of rejection that could lead this thing back down. And we have gotten the bounce, but we're not seeing signs of rejection just yet. So this is not the time to look to sell gold, and as a matter of fact, it's currently on the wave up right now. It's doing everything that it needs to do in order to actually reclaim prices above 1306.60 at the moment. So 1300 is very important. This recent Highs right here around 12.95, very important. If price were to pull back into that zone, bulls would be looking to defend and keep 12.95's bid. First shot at returning this thing back toward 13.24 and as high as 13.37. So that could be the approach for bulls here if they keep these 12.95's bid. Still watching for signs of rejection up here for bears. If they don't get that sign of rejection, then bears will not have an entry trigger to kind of get them short. So right now the flow is to the upside, and overall any pullback into 12.95 could be an early opportunity for bulls to defend for the next squeeze up. So we're kind of in that tricky zone right now with gold, so we'll continue to watch it in here as it continues to develop. Alright, that is it for today. We also have the extended holiday weekend, so everyone enjoy your Memorial Day on Monday. Make it a fantastic weekend, and I will see you all soon. Take care, folks.